This should have fired Brian Daboll. This should fire Brian Daboll. You're up 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. There is no reason why you gave up a 19-0 lead against a Bronco team that's had problems scoring for the last 3 weeks. They couldn't score against the Jets. How does Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and this front seven, who's one of the top 7 front sevens in football, give up 30 points in the fourth quarter to a team that can't score? Jaxson Dart, everybody wants to blame Jaxson Dart for that interception. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. Rookies make mistakes. You cannot expect this kid to make every single throw and do it so perfectly in his first season, which, by the way, he didn't even start. Russell Wilson did. It's the defense that choked in this game. It was this front seven, which has been fantastic. And by the way, what the hell is Thibodeau doing in the fourth quarter? Where the hell? He's a deer in the headlights. The guy has no idea how to play defense. This guy's standing there and sitting there on the sidelines trying to make excuses after that complete debacle in the red zone. How do you play a game like that and expect to go out there after the game and speak to the press and point your fingers at the coaching staff? How about you're the ones making the money? You're the one out there. Dexter Lawrence, you're making big money. Burns, you're making big money. You're front seven. Thibodeau, you expect to make a lot of money at the end of this season. And you go up in the fourth quarter and lay up a lousy goose egg when you could be 3-4 and a borderline playoff team right now? And everybody wants to point their fingers at Bowen. Is Bowen a good defensive coordinator? I never thought Bowen was a good defensive coordinator. Where did he come from? The Tennessee Titans? Come on, guys. But before he got this job, before Bowens got this job, did anybody really know who he was? Honestly, he's not Todd Bowles. He's not Robert Saleh. He's not one of those. He's not guys like Aaron Glenn. This guy, just be honest, this guy on Tennessee, they had a good defense last year. He is not one of those world-renowned defensive coordinators. And to sit here and point your fingers at him, listen, the players got to play. You got to go out there and make plays. That's why you're out there. And there's no excuse for any of the players on the football field. And by the way, the offense that went dry, the Cam Scataboos. Everybody loves Cammy. They love the way he plays. They love how he runs his head into people's guts. What did Cam do in the fourth quarter when you needed him? Nothing. I don't want to hear it, Fish. You want to tell me he caught the ball, he ran the ball. Scataboo, to me, needed to play better in the fourth quarter. If you want to be considered an elite running back, you want to go dancing around and doing your stupid dances when you're getting to the end zone, your backflips. And I don't care, Fish, you can make all the excuses you want. Oh, the offense wasn't the problem. Yeah, it was. Because when the going got tough, they couldn't run the ball when they needed to. The offensive line sucks. The only guy on that offensive line that's worth a poo, and I'm not going to say the real word I want to use, is Thomas. That's the only one. That whole offensive line is crap. It's crap. You're not going to sell me on that. And again, there's a lot of blame to go upon this loss. Everybody wants to blame the quarterback, the coach. This team is just, that game was very jet-like. That to me is the biggest joke. Speedy, you keep pressing the button over here. You see what you're doing over here. Look on the bottom. The fact here is the New York Giants are in a bad position now. And Daboll, who looked like was going to keep his job in the offseason, because if he pulled off this win against this Broncos, this is not a good Broncos defense. I'm not, no, this is a good Broncos defense. This is not a great Broncos team. It's not. We thought that this was going to be an all-world offense this year. Bo-Nix, his second year with this offense. I know, and I said it, they don't have a secondary wide receiver, and it's been a big problem. They used Mims a lot in the fourth quarter. Mims was being used a lot in the fourth quarter. I don't know if this Bronco team is going to win any championship if they don't add some offensive help. And Bo-Nix, he's having a sophomore year that we have said sophomore years are not very good for these young quarterbacks. And he's not even young. He's really a veteran because he came into the league later in his career. He's 24 years old when he was a rookie, almost 25. He's what, 26 this year? I mean, Sam Darnold's been in the league for how many years? 8 years?
Yeah, this is year 8 for him.
He's 28. Bo-Nix has only been in the league for 2 years. Sam Darnold has been in the league for 8, and he's, 2 years, a year and a half older than Bo-Nix? My thought here is the Broncos defense is sensational. It's the best defense in the league. We knew this. We knew this going into this game. We knew this going into the season. This is a great defense. But if they can't put points on the board, they're not beating teams like the Eagles. They're not beating Kansas City in the playoffs. They're not beating Buffalo. And even if Baltimore sneaks in or even the Bengals sneak in, I don't think Pittsburgh's any good. And I think Pittsburgh's going to come down to their game because as much as Aaron Rodgers looks half decent this year, this is not what we expected, at least what I expected this Pittsburgh team to be. I thought this was going to be an all-world defense and a decent offense. This has been a better offense and not a very good defense this year in Pittsburgh. The Giants had a chance on Sunday to go 3-4, be on a winning streak. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Broncos, back-to-back games after losing to the Saints. And had a chance to make a run for the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs now. They don't stand a chance. Not a chance. Because now they're 2-5 instead of 3-4. And even if the Commanders look bad, which I've said Jaden Daniels is again hurt, and the Commanders, a sophomore year again. Caleb Williams looks better in his sophomore year instead of his rookie year, but that's just why I told you Caleb Williams is special, because he still had a good freshman year, and now his sophomore year is even better because he actually has a competent coach. Daboll is on the hot seat, deeply on the hot seat now. And honestly, if they lose another game like this, or if they have a lead going into the fourth quarter and lose the lead in the fourth quarter, Daboll's going to get fired. There's no way John Mara is going to keep this guy as the head coach after this debacle of a loss. This is as bad as, and I know this isn't the Super Bowl, this is as bad as the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. It's as bad. It's the same game. It really is. Think about it. The Giants were up what? What was the score? 26 to, what was it?
8.
26-8. What was the Patriots? Well, I mean, what was Atlanta's lead in the fourth quarter?
28-9.
28-9. It's practically the same game. It happened practically the same way. And I'm going to tell you this. The Patriots had Tom Brady. The Broncos have Bo-Nix. Bo-Nix, who barely threw 300 yards in a game all season. And he was a world beater in the fourth quarter to a New York Giants defense that has the best pass rusher in the league right now. Dexter Lawrence, who's probably one of the top 3 interior players in all of football. Thibodeau, who expects to get paid, one of the best young pass rushers in the league. How do you give up 30 points to this Broncos team? It's embarrassing. They have one guy, one good offensive player on this whole offense. And by the way, how could you not stop this running game? The Broncos running game, yeah, they have J.K. Dobbins. That's great, and he's been very good. J.K. Dobbins, he plays this game that puts himself out there where he's probably going to go down. Harvey's the other guy, their young rookie. This running game in the fourth quarter, they dominated a line of scrimmage. It was embarrassing. Giant fans, I don't want to hear any excuses. There's no excuse to this. And I got a lot to say to the New York Jets. Don't you worry. I got a lot to say for my Jet fans. You idiot Jet fans. And I don't want to hear from all the other podcasts out there saying and want to blame Aaron Glenn and say Aaron Glenn needs to go. And by the way, I listened to the Herd take, and I got something to say to the Herd too. This is embarrassing. And it's not about the coaching. It's the players. You got to go out there and make plays. You're making tons of money. You got to go out there. It's not the play calling. Stop with the 8 prevent. The Jets have played that year for year in and year out, and they win games. I'm not saying the Jets are any better than the Giants, because they're not. But the Jets put up a little bit more of a challenge in the fourth quarter against the Broncos than the New York freaking Giants, who had something to play for. The Jets are 0-7. They're the worst team in the NFL. To the Giants that had a chance to be second place, tied for second place in the AFC East.